Good morning and welcome. My name is Romy Suster and I'll be your presenter today. Today we are going to speak, or right now we are going to speak, creating content for digital. I would also like to mention that we have, our colleague Magda is with you in chat box. She'll introduce herself, and I would really kindly invite you to be interactive, to introduce yourself, to tell us, who you are, maybe about your publication and similar. Because this course works really well if we cooperate and communicate together. We get, out of it, and you get the most out of it. So let's start. Now we are in section audience development, as you can see here. What are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about mixed media, content stack and content distribution. One thing which I would really suggest you to do is, just to relax, enjoy. All these, sessions are recorded. With other words, you can, watch it afterwards if you think you missed something. But the most important thing is to stay open, to follow, and to enjoy. Okay, let's start. We have 45 minutes. Let's get the most out of it. So what is important here, I will share with you a lot of case studies. I will suggest, some actions and signposts, as you can read here. And obviously we are going to dive into this, digital publishing. So what's required from you? Basically to enjoy, if possible. And it's you who decide, what's needed or what is interesting for you. But if you are new and you don't know, then, as I mentioned, enjoy, communicate with us, and you can always, rewatch each session of each training. I also kindly invite you, to attend all the sessions, because it's really great opportunity to learn about something which might become our daily life pretty soon. Good. Making the most of your content in the digital landscape. What does this actually mean? So, online media has unique properties. We all know it's immediate, it's interactive, and depth of content. It's really important, and mainly depends on our imagination and resources. If we go on, so what will be our focus today? We'll focus on mixed media, repurposing content. I would even call it recycling. Let's say you have an article, you recycle it 10 times, to get the most out of it. So that's that. And content distribution. If we go further, so mixed media, what would that be? What does this mean? Actually, opportunities for content in the digital landscape. What does this mean? We have, several mediums. One of these would be, for example, infographics, which is, a visual way of conveying facts and figures. As you know, we are bombarded with information these days, so something visual, it's really often more effective than a beautiful white paper. Video, very popular, bringing, news stories to life using video. And of course, audio, which is actually increasing in popularity, which is venturing into the world of audio through, podcasting and similar way. I'm sure you know all about, these three fields, but let's have slightly, closer look to see what others did. I think Financial Times is really no publication. It doesn't need that much introduction. But what I would like to mention here is they developed their learning resource inspired by the graphic continuum. So what's graphic continuum? It's a design project that, culminated in a poster of 90 different graphics across 5 main categories. Which are these 5 main categories? So time, comparing categories, everything to do with geospatial sector, and then, part to whole and relationship. What does that mean? As Alan Smith, from Financial Times says, charts can succinctly illustrate complex stories in a way words alone cannot. And that's image, video, and sound obviously gaining popularity. Mainly because there is so much information and you process faster if you have these other options. So they actually also develop FT visual vocabulary guides for journalists, where they would, just select the graphic to communicate really complex information regarding, politics, business, and similar. In this way, what they achieved more engaging way. If we move further to Le Monde, everybody knows it, the French, very popular one, very known one. And that's exactly this, digital generation gap, I would say, where they wanted to attract younger audiences. So they started to experiment with new digital video formats. But what happened? I think they decided to have, 18 months of, trial, like each project, and only in 12 months, in a year, they already, saw great results. They doubled subscribers. They generated 6 million views, over 300,000 hours of watch time. And I think they also, they also developed a special episode which was called Chasseurs d'étoiles. That means, star searchers, special topic for especially this, project for mainly to attract, younger generations. And their first episode generated, 350,000 views, which is a lot, and the second one doubled. So that's definitely one thing to consider. It would be good if you could share, if you have some comments or your own experiences or questions, if you could share that also in our chat, so that we can, interact, help each other to understand better. I will quickly jump to another one. That's audio example. It's another case study from Zetland. What they did, I think they are slightly smaller, and they issued a crowdfunded project, and they asked their supporters actually for the opinion. What do you want? What do you want from us? What shall we publish for you? And they were quite nervous, and the thing that came up was, we want some audio materials, audio content. It was just, okay, how shall we do that? Especially if you're print, it's this big gap. And previous to this audio experiment, the members also, in these feedbacks and researchers said that that they didn't read enough stories. And again, that's this, overload of information, because they didn't have time. And with listening, with this audio element, actually the response to their stories increased for 90%. So that's definitely one good one. So what would be an actionable step in that? If you think, okay, audio, that might be good, interesting for me, you have to diversify your content offering to keep subscribers engaged. So you have to look for alternative deliveries and mediums, how, to get to these subscribers, how to be their friends on this change from classical print maybe, or even newsletter, to something more engaging. Another one, which we have, of course, these are big names, the New York Times, the Daily. What happened there? They have, you have to know, they have about 2 million, people who are following them daily. And as you can read here, Eric Bernstein, director of audio at the New York Times, said, "We are thrilled to have 25 minutes a day with people that we didn't have before." And actually, they think that this was due to the change. They don't think the data shows that. What's important here, they converted daily news into podcasts. Basically, in a way, it's like radio. And it's impressive that all this experiment lasted about 18 months. And they reached with this addition, all these 2 million people a day, which is, incredible number. Another thing, to reconsider. Then, if we follow on to P24 by Público, that's Portuguese daily national newspaper. Mainly, I think they're published in Lisbon. Again, they decided to go with audio to catch, their readers. And they are saying that it refreshes throughout, this app refreshes throughout the day, and produces audio clips of stories that are customized to each individual reader, which is actually a great achievement because they are providing these main stories through the day all the time. And they started with that already in 2017, so they're doing that now for 4 years, and they are happy with it. They are saying that they see steady growth of listeners. What did they which actions did they take? So they researched, asked their readers, and then they decided to personalize content for their readers, now listeners in a way, to ensure content can also be digested, if you have mass information coming through the day, especially in certain situations. Another one, which we are going to talk about shortly, it's Curio. So another one, audio. I don't know if you noticed, in the last few cases, I've been mentioning audio a lot. I think this is the one which is at the moment really, really popular. Popular because it works. Obviously, everybody knows, about this Harvard Business Review's partnership with NOAA. NOAA means News Over Audio. And that's NOAA, which is interesting. It's basically Irish or Dublin-based app that produces curated playlists of narrated articles from a variety of publishers. If we think a little bit, yes, it's a new idea, but in the past, or actually it was quite common practice, especially for the blind newspapers. That's a special sector, where you have volunteers or readers who read newspapers, through certain platforms, so that blind people can, get the news as well. So basically, this audio concept is kindly, enhancement of that, just for the wider public. So, as mentioned, this audio element, it's creative addition, but it's not that new because it existed before. On average, Curio has grown in users and revenues by 30% per month, since launching in 2017. I don't know if you noticed, in 2017, all these major players, newspapers, started, noticing, okay, the change is coming. And that was 4 years ago. And look, today we are already having case studies. So it's really good that you're here because obviously this will be our future. It's not only, that publisher can find value in what users are listening. They are also able to, to create rich stories, deeper content. And they also learn that you can save these articles. And a lot of people, okay, they get notification, they save them, and they then listen to that on demand, meaning after this was, live published or similar. Now I gave you a lot of information here, and it would be good to think a little bit about it. I will also check if you have some questions. Okay, don't have questions at the moment, but it will be really good, to think just for, a few seconds, how will you diversify your content mix in this digital landscape? From that, what you heard, is there anything that you said, oh yeah, that might be interesting, I would be willing to try, but at the moment I don't know how? Think a little bit, just a little bit, and share your thoughts in comments. It can be only one word. Let's say, I like audio, or yeah, I'm happy as I am, I'm already doing it. Share your experience with us, because this will help us, to move on, in an interactive way. Again, we will continue speaking about activity. If we now go slightly more into this technical field, so content metrics from Smart Insights, inspiration for making exciting digital content. Let's say we have, this digital expertise. We know, okay, what we want to do, but what to do with the content, how to deal with it. There are a few steps how to use the content metrics. One, there are 5 steps, as you can see here in front of you. A review how you assess the value of different types of content, and define, which KPIs you use. Review the current use of content within a company through plotting the different content formats you use, and how to get the grid. Review competitor. That's always good. What are they doing? Maybe they are sharing good results. You can basically check that if you are their subscriber, if you see what their members are doing. 4, brainstorm future content types possible, and use your criteria, step 1, to select new content types. And so it's, as you can see, it's a pretty straightforward plan as with everything. I mean, if this would be print, you would probably use the same strategy. If we move slightly further, repurposing content, what does that mean? I prefer to call it, recycling. I'll tell you a quick story. My friend, I'm a journalist myself, but my friend, she went to Costa Rica for, 2 weeks. And, she created one article, which she then recycled 30 times for, different sectors, different, magazines, focusing on different things. So that's kind of an idea that we will apply in this case as well. So, case study, Inverted Pyramid Content Stack by Gary Vee. So Gary Vee, or Gary Vaynerchuk, is a media and communication entrepreneur, as well as being a New York Times best-selling author and popular media tech speaker. He developed a content strategy based on reverse pyramid, as you can see, triangle reversed, in which he starts off with so-called pillar content. What does that mean? That means, okay, I have a content and now I have to repurpose it further down the pyramid. So he as well, he used even more than 30 pieces of content, and then he distributed all of this content among different channels, and he ended with 35 million total views. If you go to YouTube, you can check him, because he's quite active on YouTube, and also if you Google him, he actually explains how he does that. So he wrote a book, an article, How to Grow and Distribute Your Brand Social Media Content. If you are new in this sector, I would really suggest, to at least check his YouTube channel, because he's very positive, very active, and basically he shows what he's doing. But let's say, okay, say fine, I would like to start now with that, starting with a content pillar. A content pillar, it's, as you can read here, a substantive and informative piece of content on a specific topic or theme that can be broken into many sections, pieces, and material. Example like that in marketing is that used a lot lately. You have content, and then they create a lot of, we create a lot of white papers, brochures, studies, case studies, and of course webinars, which in this case would be video. So in short, you have a large piece of content, and then you have to turn it in smaller pieces. It's same principle as before with this 30 examples from one simple article. I kindly invite you to, if you have any thoughts, or if you think that that's relevant to you, just post us a comment or your thought. That would be really, really good. If we go slightly further with content stack, here you have 2 examples. So ad hoc content. Okay, I need I don't know, 10 articles by the end of next week, because we are going to publishing, and you don't really plan, you just calculate the quantity. And that's slightly different if you use a content stack methodology. So you have actually in this content stack, you have certain numbers that you can play with. For example, if you say, okay, I need to create 10 pieces of licensed content, then I have to produce 4 videos and writing 2 original articles. And that's kind of a beautiful example. So 10 4 and 2. 10, 4 and 2. That's normally works with, those major players as well. And in your strategy document, you communicate the value of each format, so as well as relative goals. So it's always, what do you want to achieve with that? And this will actually help you, to get this cascading content strategy. Or you see here, you have, post 444. This could be, chapters as well. So if you approach from this perspective, that's helpful. So 10, 4, 2. It's kind of, winning material. Now, again, we come to a question. Are you making the most of your distribution channels? If you just think a little bit, what would that mean? How are you distributing? Maybe it would be nice if you could share. If you're new, no worries. Or if you're trying to start it, what do you think a distribution channel could be? Any thought, it's super welcome. Okay, let's move. Activity. So we have these content stacking questions. So thinking about your next article. And here are some questions that you could actually ask yourself, and maybe you're already doing that. So if you're having a conversation about an article, could you record it as a podcast? Regarding podcasts, in this media environment, you will hear amazing words where you think, oh my gosh, podcast, or do I need a special course? No, podcast is virtually recording. Everybody can do it. In the past, when I was young, we were taping that on the tapes, which don't exist anymore. Today, with podcast, you will record yourself on a simple phone or recorder, and you will, need an application, and there are plenty also for free. So don't be ever afraid of any words such as that, and they are coming a lot because the technology is developing. So I have an article. Can I record it as a podcast? Could I create a video at the same time? Do I need to create content? So do I have to write something, or can I just go live and be spontaneous? If I go live, again, can I record it? And if I interview someone, can I really share full transcript, or do I have to amend it? Can I break down a question, post questions by questions, meaning, okay, can I recycle, can I create more of this content? And could these answers be turned into graphics and chat? And rather than creating graphics myself, can I ask my followers to do work for me? I know that sounds bizarre, but I'm sure you already noticed, send us, I don't know, your best picture from your holiday and you will win this and that. So involving audience to, not work for you, but to provide content for you. These are the options. Really good question list, especially for today. Content distribution. So now you have everything. You have your stack, you have your material, you have your podcast. So how can I distribute this then? Or basically, how can I promote it among online audiences? Let's see how we could do that. Again, this is a nice picture. Here you have your options. You always have to respect the existing readers because, they are there, they follow you. I'm talking, in this first forum because I'm also part of it. We are thinking like that as well with our, own publishings and stuff. But you all the time need to get new readers, to grow. So awareness, consideration, action, engagement, advocacy. With new readers, you have to make them aware that you exist, and then you go down. And existing readers, I would say it's, you have to keep them engaged because, they are kind of, faithful followers. You don't want to lose that in this environment today. With existing readers, we could also speak about, recirculation. But what does that actually mean? It's, as everything, it's metric. It's the percentage of users who visit another page of your website after they finished reading their first article. So, and this is really important if you are using Google Analytics, because this will bounce the rate, the percentage of readers who left your website without, loading a second page or engaging with anything. So how do I make now my dear readers who are here, to click on one more page, to see these engagement results? Apropos that, there is a playbook in our, GNI page where we actually explain how this actually works. The other thing which would be good to consider is newsrooms. So think of the content and journey, and the word strategies. Which actions do I need to keep my readers, moving through, through my sites? And my goal is all the time, to this strong circulation, meaning I want to manage my content in a way that it shows me data how much audience goes from one piece of content to another on the site. If you, it's classical example, in some German media, you have an article, and then you have page 1, and then you have to click on number 2 to read. And normally on the page 1, they end with really something interesting, which is just, oh my God, in the middle of the story, like who did it? And wow, page 2 then reveals it. That's, in my opinion, very smart use of that. And what about the news, the new readers and distribution? That's, in my opinion, very hard. And I'm sure you will agree with me, because we have so much information, so much choice, that sometimes you just don't know what to do. So to connect with new readers, I will have to use digital channels, because digital channels have these, advantages compared with traditional distribution. So digitally, you are faster. So you can, if you obviously have to pay for advertising, can have something really catchy for people to click on. It's also lower cost. And you have the ability to update the content constantly and really easy. And also the ability to establish more direct content and interaction with users. That's mainly used with, these call to action buttons. Click here, do that. It's really interesting how language sometimes has the power, to have influence over us. Click here, do that now. And red button, you just click on it. So, okay, you don't need to be that drastic, but that's kind of the way how things can go as well. Now here, new readers distribution. So what's the difference between owned, earned, and paid? So owned, and then we have here search. Obviously, this is mainly Google search. Social media and similar. Audio, video, we said podcasts and probably YouTube or similar. Live, and we go live with some stories and similar, and campaigns. That goes already more into this marketing department, I would say. So 3 categories. What is owned? That's what we have. Channels we own. Earned, it's the likes and engagement of others. Maybe I read something and I say to my friend, oh my gosh, please read this link, I'll send it to you. All word for that would be word of mouth. And paid, of course, that's advertising and sponsorships. We will talk a lot about that in this section, not with me today, but with our colleagues, right, where you can see, how you can actually use paid methods to gain new search. It's very important, that one, because it can cost a lot of money if you do it wrong. So you have to pay attention. Distribution, search index contains more information than all the words libraries put together. Unfortunately, that's true. And make sure you stand out, and that's difficulty. You have to be 1 in a million. So what do you need? I mean, this is really easy shopping list. Yeah, super. A keyword strategy, optimized content pages, good hosting, and web page usability. It's quite easy to do when you do it right, and it can be a nightmare if you don't do it right. And that's really important why we are here today. Good hosting and web page usability. It's maybe worth mentioning here a little bit more, because when ranking results Google search also evaluates whether web pages are easy to use. Let's say if you have certain pain points, meaning something doesn't work, doesn't upload, Google will develop an algorithm to promote more usable pages. So please make sure that if you have a website, that this also works on your mobile phone or iPad. If it doesn't, or if it gets all strange formats and similar, you start losing the position in Google. It's really, really easy and a bit sad like that, but that's how it is. It's good to know. Another one, it's speed, page speed insights. It's called also PSI. I would learn these kind of abbreviations. Page speed insights, PSI, provides a score, and this score summarizes the page's performance. A score of 90 or above, it's considered good. 50 to 90 is, okay, and it needs to be improved. Otherwise, again, you will rank lower. And below 50, that's not good. That you have to be at least, at 90 to be, regarded as a okay, web page. And it's true. And it varies. Let's say today you're 90, then something changes. One part of the page doesn't work, you fall down to 70, in seconds. So somebody needs to be on that all the time. Distribution, audio. Oh, you probably know this one, Hey Siri. Oh my gosh, I shouldn't say that because, oh my God, my Siri already activated itself. So, hey Google, play the news, and then automatically you get it. So lately I'm playing with this email readers and stuff, and it's good, but it's a lot of people are using it these days. And these are virtually personalized news briefings for its voice platform by Google Assistant. Again, as you know, this is not new. It's already 2 years old. It started in 2019, and believe me, this will move on. I think if we meet in a year time or 2 years time, this will be already developed, especially with artificial intelligence and that kind of development. So I hope you are still around. Let me check if you have some questions or similar. So far, no questions, no comments. It would be really good if you share at least, what your feedback or something, what you think or what you like. And we have to move on. We have, another 12 minutes left. So choosing what's right for you. I think this information is sometimes a bit overwhelming because it's so much information, and some things you know, some things you don't know, some things you do. So let's move quickly forward. A diversified content distribution strategy is the key. So you remembered, owned what I have, earned word of mouth, paid, my advertising, digital advertising mainly. So you have to follow the reader and the user, and we have to serve them content, whether it's that they want, or we have to serve it whatever and in whatever device they want to use it. So, the old saying, customer's the king. Now, obviously, my reader is the king. If I won't please them, they will go somewhere else, and they can do that because we have so much competition. Now we go to Finland with Kirsi Hakaniemi. Kirsi Hakaniemi is head of digital business for Keksi Suomalainen, which is a Finnish newspaper. Personally, I favor Nordics because everything what they touch is normally successful. And again, they are thinkers, active thinkers. They said they researched what's happening in our local life. So they focused on families, on people in their own local environment. And I don't know, sometimes the topic was employment, sometimes was buying a house, sometimes anything that was local and was happening. So they followed the reader's life in a way. And then by by learning about the readers, they were able to understand which devices are the most, suitable. What are they using? How can I basically serve my reader to open this, text, be my Facebook follower and read it? So I would check this digital business from Finland, because they, everything what they do is normally really working, and they are not that big. Then let's go quickly to pink news. A few years ago, LGBT, and also today, well, it's kind of popular topic. It's increasing. They again, they were quite small when they started, but they started to applying Snapchat, because their targeted ages were actually ages between 13 and 25, super young, well, children basically, children and let's say young people. And they decided to go after this group, and they started using what they were using, Snapchat. Snapchat is not that popular anymore. And it's really interesting. I'm now in my 40s. I spoke with my stepdaughter, and I said, she's now 13, and I said, listen, you could have Facebook, right? So would you like to have Facebook? And she said, oh, Rumi, you are so old. Nobody is using Facebook. It was just, yeah, okay, right? So I asked, what are you using? Yeah, it's Instagram. Instagram, everything's more private with new generations. I think in many ways they are maybe even smarter than older ones. So, but again, if you go after social media, then I would say, okay, you have to know what kind of social media your readers or your target group is using. Then you have to simplify everything for social media, because you have just limited space and that you can publish everything. And you have to find out activities, maybe even events, how to get in touch with these people. I think Pink News, they receive quite lots of awards here in the UK for their for their platform and how they engaged with people. So now we still have some time. Oh, I'm happy I didn't overrun. I will just check if somebody decided to say hello to me. Unfortunately, Magda, does anyone say something? Probably not. Okay. Anyway, I hope you're enjoying that so far. But as you can see, our focus today was mixed media. So we're talking about these content metrics, about ways which we have different platforms. We had a lot of case studies, which I hope were helpful, especially maybe from slightly smaller publishers, because if you take New York Times, these are established people. They have lots of financial resources. It's easy to do stuff like that if you have good financial support. If you're new and small, you have to be, in a way, smarter and often more creative. I call it recycling. Here, we should call it repurposing content. Remember, 10, 4, 2. So, 10 articles. You remember this post which I was saying about podcasts and 2 videos. So that's important, that you recycle same content in an interesting way. And content distribution, respect those who you have, work on word of mouth and popularity, call to action button and stuff. And of course, it's not unfortunate, it's like advertising all the time. You have to invest to be seen. Okay, let's go then for more questions. I think I ask a lot if you have questions, but you don't. Maybe everything's clear. Whatever you do, I would just say, always think for yourself, and use these trainings which we have, and maybe Magda can share in chat also the email. If you have specific question, write an email, but ask precisely what you want, because it's beautiful opportunity to be here right now, and this is still developing when it's so open, because in few years I'm 100% sure this will be our future. So what did we do? Audience development. We are now here. In the afternoon, we will meet again, with crafting digital newsletters, and we will speak about audience growth. This is interesting because there will be mentioned some ways, links which you can use. We will talk about us or our work as a product and newsletter revenue. So how can I get money, monetize? In the future days, there are more courses coming. I would really, really suggest you to join data management, but always, to be relaxed, enjoy the courses. Don't, be aware that you can ask if you have question, that you will be heard, you'll get answer, but also you can review that. This is just, some kind of introduction or open-minded content. As I mentioned, we have roundtables. Roundtable is it works really good. We had a few this week. And we meet on Google Meets, we show our faces, and it's communication. We share our experience. Okay, we obviously can help you, with a certain information which maybe wasn't clear or you want to know more, and guide you, that you will get the most out of it. Then we have labs. This is obviously just training on the page. I'm sure Magda shared that with you in chat. And I would really like to ask you for feedback. Doesn't matter, good, bad. How did you feel with this session? Did you like me as presenter? I hope you did. I'm kidding, but as you know, feedback is always good because only with feedback you can improve. And maybe you have some great idea which would help everybody, including ourselves here, to let Google know what would be actually desirable. Yes, that's pretty much everything for today. Let me just check if there is something new. Nothing new. We will have now a short break, and then we will continue. So far so good. Welcome, and I hope to see you after the break.